make a note to reach out to her. Again.
Do we have a?
Out of that, I don't know. I don't know whether you consider the older group or the new group or the initial group or the new group. I'm not sure we have a quorum either way.
I think we do. 1, 2, 3, 4 would make a quorum.
Yeah. isn't
Well, are
that-
you official?
Well, are you official?
I don't think I am.
Are you official?
So
Who's official?
let's,
How are we not official?
well-
Can we just,
I think I am,
yeah.
but there is just.
now, I have 12 o'clock. So let's just go ahead and call this.
I don't think we have a quorum, so we can't take action such as the start of the meeting.
Well, that's the first thing that I was going to address, is that we have thoughts on what a quorum consists of. But going forward, I think the whole purpose of today is that we should probably define how we are going to operate.
That
So-
would probably not be, yeah, it wouldn't be, you can't take action such as starting a meeting without having a quorum already.
Right, which is why we should decide what a quorum consists of.
Yeah.
So,
When you say "we," who is
Yeah,
we?
yes, because
Who is we?
say we being, I would say us four commissioners plus.
Well, we have
but
three.
the thing is, you don't know if you're commissioners just like we don't know. So why can you say that? How you could say us four make the decision when none of us know if we're actually commissioners? We just gotta wait until I guess till we get the
Yeah.
ruling.
And I've passed
That's the only reason
around,
I'm here. I'm waiting for a ruling because
I've passed around the interlocutory appeal that the city filed.
that was not gonna be counted.
Here you go.
Yes.
So this,
Here's a computer.
so this meeting actually probably go one of two ways.
It's not the church
Either-
chair that's gonna knock me over.
I don't think so.
I don't see this going any other than two different ways. Either,
Well, could I ask a question? Who is the chairperson actually of this anymore?
I think that's not clear as well.
That's
Oh,
not
that's
clear as well
unclear.
because I
Yeah.
thought she was, and you're saying you are. But
I,
how can you be chairperson when we don't even know who we are?
Okay, who are the commissioners, the former ones that were, that
We are
your
the-
term was up?
Our term was up, but then they made a ruling so that we can't do anything until the judge made his ruling.
No.
No.
Okay,
Yes.
let's just back up. We're not gonna start
Nothing
an
is
official
clear
meeting.
until they go to the, I think they will go to the courts.
Yeah, we're not gonna
That's
start
why
an
I'm here.
official meeting.
Otherwise,
but
I'd be out.
Let's hear Michael out. He's
Thanks.
had some thoughts.
so I see this going one of two ways. Either we proceed as us four being the commissioners and four being a quorum. That is just one way. The opposition to that is that there is the alternative of waiting until the courts. If we go down that route, we would have to suspend meetings until we get to a court's decision. Otherwise, we're meeting for no purpose.
Yeah, right. I have to leave work and it ends up,
so I passed this around, this was filed by the city on August 22nd.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Latrice. Just to finish my thought though, does anyone see any other options besides those?
And that's what it was.
That's what she's
That's
telling
what she's trying to
me.
say.
Okay,
So, they filed an application for interlocutory review based on the judge's ruling in Nicole's case on the summary judgment. And within that application for interlocutory review, what they're essentially arguing is that the decision on summary judgment impacts the outcome of the whole case. So the summary judgment ruling effectively only ruled that Davenport Civil Rights Commissioners are not at will, that they are independent commissioners, and that there's a for-cause removal standard.
okay.
So the city is essentially arguing that that ruling impacts the outcome of the case, which would be whether or not Nicole and the other three commissioners were impermissibly removed. So the city is acknowledging that that ruling impacts your status as commissioners.
Right.
Because if they were not removed properly because of the for-cause removal standard, then you all could not have been appointed because there was no vacancy to appoint you into.
Sure.
And so that seems to be the city's position on it. based on what they filed in this application for interlocutory review. So I've passed that around to everybody.
And that's
And I don't
also,
know if that gives additional insight into the current status of affairs.
I think the part that would probably help us out quite a bit is, what does that mean for the interim though?
It means that the city feels like the summary judgment ruling impacts our current status. So if the summary judgment ruling says that you can't be removed without cause, then that means that the city is acknowledging that they didn't have cause to remove them.
I would
because that's
dispute
the-
that
I'm sorry, can I
interpretation.
finish my sentence?
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
then I would like to
So
speak.
that is what the city is saying in this application for interlocutory review. Yeah, that's the only thing that the judge ruled on in the summary judgment decision, was that there was a for-cause removal standard, and that there has to be shown that there was cause to remove them. And so if there's an application for interlocutory review, because that decision is going to impact the outcome of that case,
Right.
that means that they are acknowledging that there was not cause to remove them. So,
I guess I don't understand. When the term is up, aren't you?
I would like to
that's.
respond
That's
to
a separate issue that this
Yeah.
one is.
Ms. Lacy's interpretation of the summary judgment. Summary judgment request is to say there is no case on one side or the other. They're rarely granted. It wasn't granted in this case. And the judge did have an interesting decision that the 4 commissioners that were dismissed by the mayor couldn't be dismissed without cause. In other words, they weren't serving at just the mayor's pleasure, that because of the independence issue, they could only be dismissed with cause. However, the other part of that decision said the facts of whether there are cause or not are in dispute.
Right.
And therefore, we would go to trial, and the judge would make a determination based on the trial as to whether there was sufficient cause for the dismissal. My understanding is that the letter of dismissal did list reasons for the dismissal, which may or may not be construed as a legitimate cause. So it wasn't a win for the plaintiff. It rather said the game isn't forfeited before it begins. We have to have the trial and hear the facts. The city, and this was news to me, that this has been filed within the last 24 hours, and I haven't read it yet.
No,
But
it
the
was
city's
filed on
appealing.
August 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying it was news to me in the last 24 hours, so I haven't had an opportunity to read it. The city is appealing to the Supreme Court, saying that they believe the mayor doesn't have to even have cause. Therefore, there would be no reason to have a trial. And so we're left with this uncertainty. If the Supreme Court agrees with the city attorneys, then
It's not
the
Supreme
dismissal
Court.
is final.
It's not the Supreme Court, correct?
No.
They've appealed to the Supreme Court. We don't know
Yeah.
if it's going to be accepted, but it's,
If not,
the argument is that that the summary judgment ruling impacts the outcome of the case. And so they would like for the Supreme Court to overturn the summary judgment ruling, which only ruled that the commissioners can't be removed unless there's cause.
No, I get, but why Supreme Court? Why are we jumping over the appellate court?
the city can win its case more quickly then.
Wait.
Well, that's not how it works, but. No, because I'm not trying to be funny, because everybody would try to go to Supreme Court if we could, but.
They're arguing that this is a matter of first impression, and so they wanted the Supreme Court to intervene on that summary judgment. But the ruling for summary judgment only focused on the fact that the commissioners can't be removed unless there's cause. So this is stating that the ruling impacts the outcome of the case.
Yeah, I got that,
So-
I just, that.
That would mean that if the ruling impacts the outcome of the case, that means that there's cause to remove them. If there was stated cause to remove them, then that ruling would not impact the outcome of the case. So that is effectively acquiescence that they didn't meet the standards to remove the commissioners. And this is in their filing, that this is what they believe.
Yeah, but that's just, that's an argument. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying except the last part, the part that this is some kind of admission on the city's part. Now, there is, obviously, they're taking a position for this argument, but I agree with what you're saying. They're obviously acknowledging that something was not done. If something was not done properly, then they should not have been removed in the first place, which means we shouldn't have been appointed in the first
Right.
place.
They says the summary judgment ruling will materially affect.
No, and it does. I think I agree that it does. But in the sense that what they argue in this brief doesn't make it a conclusion, a ruling of law.
But that's the city's position, so if that's the city and the mayor's position, and the mayor has taken the action to appoint new people, then that means that there is some acknowledgement that, if the summary judgment ruling stands, that the actions that they have taken are improper, based on them filing this. This is filed by both the mayor and the city. So that, yeah.
No, I get it, but this is what, but they can't be held. I mean, when you have the hearing for Judge Rydell, I mean, you may argue, somebody may argue that they're making an admission, but they're not gonna admit that at that time.
Well, throughout all of the filings, they've stated that there was no cause, that they serve at the will, and so they can be removed at the mayor, at will by the
Yeah.
mayor.
But I did think the letters did, I thought the letters we were get provided did provide some reasons for some of them.
But that doesn't mean
Reasons that were
that's
never
a-
proven.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why we're having a hearing.
That's why you have a trial.
So when you do a for-cause removal, there are only certain, there are very specific things that you can remove someone from who's sitting on an independent commission. And so, all of the things listed don't appear to be things that would qualify for removal with a for-cause standard.
Yeah.
And they
No,
also have
I don't want to
show-
get into merits of whether it's right or wrong, because that's up to the judge.
And you
But
have to show that you actually did an investigation, that there was an actual investigation, like there were interviews conducted, all of that, when you do a for-cause removal. So there is a process where you're doing that kind of removal, but you have to show that you've taken those actions, and I don't think we have that in this case. And then also there has been the issue with Mike Matson's deposition, where he's stating that his name was forged on the letter, which creates a separate issue. All of it just serves to create more confusion to stop the commission from fulfilling its mandate.
What I'm not hearing so far though is, what does this mean for the interim?
And I think in the interim, if you didn't have a position to be appointed into, then,
Which no ruling has been made on yet.
well, the ruling that there has to be a for-cause removal standard. So if the city is acknowledging that they didn't meet the for-cause removal standard, then
Which
they
is an
also-
interpretation. Just to be fair, it's
No, the judge is saying there's a for-cause removal standard. So when you
Agreed.
have a for-cause removal, you have a pre-termination hearing. You all were appointed before there was any hearing held. So there was no vacancy for you to be appointed into because there was no hearing, there was no pre-termination hearing. The letter said they're removed effective immediately. So there are laws and laws have rules associated with them. And that's the process for that. So if there is a for-cause removal standard, then there is a pre-termination hearing. If you don't have a pre-termination hearing, then that's a violation of due process rights.
So what I'm,
So the process is that you have to go through, and that is the reason that they are filing this application for interlocutory appeal, because those processes weren't followed. And I actually notified the mayor and city attorney about that issue prior to them appointing you all, and they proceeded with it anyway. So they definitely were aware that that was an issue because I brought it up.
so what I'm hearing, going back to my original question, is that you see a third option then. There's the option of, your stance seems to be that us new four are not acting commissioners. And you're suggesting that the old four that was terminated are the acting commissioners. Is that your stance?
I'm saying I don't know what the status is, but I think that it's very clear that there is a question about the status of,
I think we can all agree on that.
and I don't know that there can be an argument made that there is good faith in participation by all parties. So
But that's my question, is what parties do you feel should be participating?
I don't have an opinion of that. I'm just saying what we have in front of us. So that's what we have in front of us, and that's where it is. But based on the facts that we have as they're laid out, based on the filings that the city has made, based on the summary judgment ruling,
What's the next step?
I think it's very unfortunate that this has been done this way, because it creates a standstill for the commission and the people who have cases pending before the
Exactly.
commission.
But what is the next step? When does it go to court? When is the hearing?
Probably the summer hearing, wouldn't it?
There is a motion to stay that Nicole has filed. I'm not sure when the hearing is on that. There's also a hearing to schedule the next hearings. I think that's next week,
The motion to stay, what is that on?
to stay the removal,
Which one, the 3 or the 4?
the 4.
The 4.
3 were never removed.
Okay.
There was never any action to remove.
Well, that's in dispute too.
Wait, why do you, the motion to stay the removal of the 4?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need that? You're getting a hearing. to
Until the
decide.
trial.
That way it's clear, so that resolves the confusion that everybody.
The motion to stay for us to not act. That's, okay. Well, I don't think that's gonna happen anyway, but,
So remove us?
no, she did a motion to stay so the 4 of us, or, yeah, the 4 of us would not
That's
act,
pertinent.
including Ruby, if Ruby was here. But has that been ruled on? That has not been ruled on. But either way, I can tell you, I mean, I'm not the judge, but I'm not gonna act, and even if I am the 4, because I don't think that's right to the people. I don't wanna make decisions for people's just lives and then have it all come back.
Be overturned.
And be, well, just them to go through all that, even whether it's the employer or the claimant, that's just not fair. I mean, they're going through a whole lot, and for me to make a ruling or make a decision, I just don't think that's fair. So I'm not, so you could, I mean, your motion to stay is filed, but regardless of what happens, I'm not, I tell everybody, I'm not going to make decisions on people's lives when it's like this, because that's not right.
We don't know yet when the Supreme Court will address this motion. If the Supreme Court agrees with the city, then that would presumably terminate Nicole's suit. If they agree with the district court judge, then there would still probably be a trial to determine.
The district court, you got a date? You have a date already, right?
Yeah,
When
that's
is
not
that?
how that process works, so the Supreme Court could decide to just not accept this.
Yeah.
If they did decide to accept it and they reviewed it and they said, no, there's no for-cause removal standard, which that's very unlikely since this is jurisprudence dating back centuries, so over a century, I should say. So that would just mean that that part of it would be, that portion of it relating to the for-cause standard. That doesn't mean that the reasons for removal weren't still improper.
Yeah.
So
So when is the hearing set? Well, before, I didn't know about this, but before this, when was the hearing set?
they have a hearing to schedule it,
Oh, so, okay, we still haven't scheduled it, okay.
and then there's another
There is
hearing that's
a
scheduled.
Supreme Court hearing scheduled?
No, there's a hearing to schedule, the hearing before Judge Rydell.
Oh, okay. And that can be changed anyway, depending on what the Supreme Court does, so,
Well, possibly, but,
yeah.
yeah, this is interesting, let's just say that. Oh,
So, I don't see
So
the
you have a hearing for a hearing.
value.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think we're all just sort of stuck at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it sounds like we all have the same goal in mind. It's just a
It's
matter
a
of who are
goal.
the ones to carry it out. Okay. Erie, with you taking a step back, I think that actually makes things a little bit clearer for how we can operate, okay? Because it's either the 4 or none, right?
Well, there's a question about the four.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying, is
but
that
yeah.
if, I don't think there's any of the new four that are saying that they are not commissioners. It's just more the stance saying, we're not gonna find out, or we're gonna wait to find out, rather. Yeah. And I would assume the same for.
That's what we've
what
said
we-
all along.
Yeah, it's what we've all agreed.
Except the city has never initiated anything.
They're not going to.
So I don't think there's any of what we're calling the old four saying that someone of the new four is to take this spot. We're just waiting.
For the city to have filed against us.
So
Well, in the meantime, while we're just waiting and nothing happens,
with,
we lose funding,
So
we,
therefore,
Yes.
all kinds of things.
yes,
That's, it sounds like that is a
See,
very
not
possible.
Michael.
I'm sorry.
There's a time limitation for the city to have filed, and they didn't file within a certain time limitation. So that means the three of us are still the legitimate commissioners.
Yeah,
Plus,
because
we
were
didn't
supposed to
step
file
down
by
at
the
November
end of our
30th.
term.
He didn't file till December 12th, because I thought I was gone, I was done, but he says, well, he didn't file till, he called me on a Friday, which was what, like about the 9th or so, or
No, for,
to tell me
She's
that,
talking about, like,
we no longer,
I think Susie's referring to the fact that you all have been participating in meetings and voting for months, and there's been no action taken.
yeah,
and no action has been.
on that. But no, I thought you said that we weren't notified, I thought you also said that we weren't notified.
No,
In time.
I didn't say that.
So Latrice, do we have
They
to
weren't
have
appointed
a-
until- They weren't appointed
October
until then.
meeting scheduled?
It's just a standing meeting.
They should have been appointed by December
Second
10th, those
Tuesday
that's why.
at noon.
I mean, but does it
But
make,
if we're not
can we
getting
not do it
signatures-
without messing anything up?
We aren't doing it currently.
Well, I mean, not even try to do it, I guess. Can we just not come? I mean, I don't, I mean,
We can
if,
cancel if we don't have a quorum.
yeah, we can,
Yeah.
so it still has to say, okay.
Send out the,
So we're in a quadrant that nothing can be accomplished, unfortunately.
And
so
the poor people out there in the community are suffering because there's nobody helping them.
the other aspect we have to bring up is that either way, our terms are up in November. So, including Ruby's, you're on a different timeline.
Yeah, mine would be a 2-year term, which,
How do you term get up in November?
Because we just
Because
took,
they're-
Filling.
we took the spot for the
Oh,
four
just a
that
fill, okay.
should not
Yeah.
have.
You came in like I did, I
So-
actually came in as a filler and
Something to keep
ended
in
up here
mind
7
is
years.
that
yeah,
if we don't have this October meeting, that pushes over to November, which, depending on how things go, we may or may not have at that point. Either way, we'll be having new commissioners after that.
And I think the four that left, none of their terms were up in November, right? One of the
So
ones
we're-
that were
Well, that's,
hired.
yeah, their terms would have been expired November 30th.
This coming,
Of 19,
mhm,
yeah.
yeah.
So this is, as messy as it seems right now, it doesn't seem to be getting any better as time goes on.
Well, you still have to November though. We would still be, yeah. So, but he wouldn't, or whoever the new mayor is, won't appoint until next year, right?
Well, Frank would have the right to appoint your replacements if you don't, or you again, at the beginning of December. It's an odd sequence, why the statute's that way, that it basically can leave the lame duck mayor picking one. I'm not sure why it is, but that's the way it is. So, because the terms expire November 30th, the mayor's supposed to appoint a new commissioner at that point.
Only if the commissioners step down at it.
Yeah.
Well,
The
that's in
terms
dispute,
expired.
Susan.
But that
No,
says
that's-
that in the
Yeah,
statute.
that's
So
in
you're
dispute.
spending.
But it's not been taken to the courts for whatever reason, I'm not sure why. So here we are.
Can someone explain to me what that means, that if the commissioners don't step down, what does that mean? If their term is up?
There's no vacancy then, and the mayor can't appoint somebody.
No, but I mean, if your term is up,
So state law says that a vacancy is only created if you vacate the position.
but if the term is up, isn't that, you just,
It doesn't create an automatic vacancy.
No.
And the city's
But then
ordinance.
That's
Just to ask
disputed.
you, right?
That's
It
disputed.
says it
That's
clear
a-
as day.
an
Yeah, it does,
interpretation
it
of
says
one
that, you know, he
clause.
has to ask you
The
if you
state law
wanna,
is very
if you wanna
clear
give up your
how-
position yet, and if you say
Yeah.
no,
then they have.
then you're
you
still a
just stay.
commissioner.
Yeah,
And I
there's
don't think- I don't-
considerable disagreement from that point of view.
I don't think
I'm
that's
not
a dispute.
an
It
attorney,
was
but I
written
just
clearly.
don't
I read that
understand.
because I thought, well,
Well,
I'm gone, and then they said no.
That issue isn't addressed by this suit.
No, that's totally different.
Yeah, it's
No.
totally
Completely
different.
separate, yeah.
And it's
No, I
based
wasn't saying it was
on,
addressed by this suit. I've known that for years and years.
And
No,
then
based
we
on
have
one
a city
sentence in
ordinance
the
that
code
says the
can be
mayor can
interpreted
appoint only
differently.
if there is a vacancy.
And I wish
So,
the city
fact
had
that
taken
the
it
city
to
has
trial
to
right away.
appoint
Yeah, 'cause it's
that
made
they
if I'd
write
understood
that
how
into
long
the
this would
ordinance,
drag on.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
no
it's been
reason for
almost-
them to write that into the
well, it's
ordinance
almost
other
a
than
year,
that was
10
the
months.
intent. They
I probably
have
would have
different
standing
where they have added
in my
that to
role
say
to
the mayor
file
can
that suit,
appoint
but given
of a
the
vacancy.
zero
So,
pay, I'm
they
reluctant
intended
to
for
invest my own
Him
funds.
to be
But
able
that
to
just
appoint
didn't
whenever
please
a
have it
term
happen,
expires,
so.
they wouldn't have put that in. Because
Maybe we
it's-
should file together.
Still my biggest concern are the
Well, you
people
know,
out
it's
there
very
that
So
don't
we're
do
just
things to
acting and
help
get it
them.
resolved.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
doing
it needs to
nothing.
be
We're just-
resolved to the-
Just sitting and it makes no sense.
I would make one other point, which I don't think anything would come of it, but the elected officials would have the option of basically changing statute to clarify what they want to be the case going forward. Now, given that we're right in the middle of an election and some people are rolling off, I would be enormously surprised if anybody would take action, but there could be a statutory addressing of this issue to get it resolved, to make it sort of moot in terms of what the law used to say, and could just clarify it.
But that wouldn't be retroactive.
And I think that there's a few changes to the statute that help clarify some of these matters that have been disputed all along. You know, as private citizens, we might want to think about making suggestions to the council and mayor that they clear up.
There needs to be clarification.
There's about 3 places where I think there's adjustments in the statute should be made to prevent this kind of logjam that we've had, because I agree with Erie, it isn't fair to the complainants or the respondents, the situation that we had. It isn't fair to the citizens of Davenport to have this hung up, and so that's all I got to say.
I mean, because you would agree, Latrice, that basically no matter, even if you went with us four, you just went with the older group or initial group, returning the responder or the claimant, I mean, they automatically have a reason to appeal. I would argue, if I'm their attorney, if they hired me as an attorney, I'm gonna say, you don't even know who's supposed to be making this decision. So I mean, it's just like a time waste if anybody starts making decisions. Think about it if you were an attorney on either side.
There's case law that addresses that. I think there's some analysis about whether or not people are acting in good faith, and whether they can take action. So it depends.
But there's,
Whether or
is
not
that,
that would
but
be a
the fact that it
successful
depends
argument.
means there's an argument to be made, right? So I
Yeah, the
mean,
argument could be made.
so either side could make that argument, and then you could, even if you won, it's still gonna delay a decision that usually may take, if it's a clear-cut decision, it takes 3 weeks. Now it could take 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. I just don't think that's fair to do to the,
Now, aren't you moving some of it over to, was it EEOC or whatever it is? So they're not being left in limbo, it's being addressed, but through a different means.
And we
So
just
now-
don't get paid for it. and
Yeah.
okay.
We're currently responsible.
But after a while, that's gonna.
So are you still doing the
We
cases?
can't
Are you still
function
doing the cases with the EEOC?
We're still doing our work as staff,
Okay.
but there are cases that are pending before the commission that have been sitting, and that arguably violates our contract with our federal partners because we are supposed to have a functioning commission
Yeah.
as a part of our contract.
Which would impact HUD funds.
It impacts, we have contracts with the Iowa Civil Rights Commission, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and HUD. So it could impact all three of those because,
Right.
and then we're also just not operating in accordance with state law.
So there is no right decision. at the moment. Okay? There's only the best decision that we can make at the time, at this point in time.
And I don't think it's, I don't think you want to characterize it as a decision, because it's not.
But we would have to make a decision of whether or not we're going to be meeting.
You can't take action without quorum, so you can't.
Well, softly suggest that.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're saying, yeah, is what we're saying. I mean, I understand the logistics of it and the terminology we have to use, but the fact of the matter is, come October, what we are suggesting is that until the courts make a decision, speaking holistically, is that us that are here are saying the Civil Rights Commission will not meet. Is that where we stand?
Well, I think we left it as this a standing meeting, so we still should come if we can come. And see if we can then act, because right now we can't take it off the
Right,
calendar
right.
because we don't have enough of it. But yes, I think we're probably gonna come back and do a shorter version of this.
Of what we've been doing? Okay.
At least that's what I think.
That was,
Unless
What I was
we get some
getting
answers
at.
between, so when is your stay set for a hearing?
I just looked at it, I should have a better memory than what I do, but I think there's one for October 18th maybe, and there's something set for hearing next Monday, but I think that next Monday is the scheduling.
I think it is for the schedule and the trial.
Now, does the state ask, obviously ask for this four of us to not to do anything, but does it ask to continue what the original initial four? To do,
It asks to, because the judge just left it open. The judge is saying there needs to be there's a 4 cause removal standard, this is what it is, and that there has to be, the removal has to have been for cause, but what goes with that is, if you have a 4 cause removal, you have to have a pre-termination hearing, and that didn't happen, so, yeah, it's implied, but he doesn't specifically go and outline all of that.
so when you get the ruling for the stay, will you send that to, I mean, because that matters to me. If he says the initial four can continue to act, then that helps answer some questions for me, and I think for
everybody.
well,
Yeah.
for at least the new four, we know we shouldn't be here.
I'll keep everybody.
Okay, 'cause, yeah.
well, seeing as how we can't actually have a formal closing, are there any other items to discuss?
I'll just give everybody an update. I was subpoenaed in Lynn's, Washburn's lawsuit against the city. So not sure if you'll be hearing about that, but that happened this morning.
Can you be more, what is that, I mean,
I had to give a deposition on her lawsuit against the city.
Wait, who's Lynn Washburn?
She was the fire chief.
I thought that was resolved.
Kind of along the same lines, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the case my dad here, wasn't it, on the civil service,
yeah.
when he was forced out.
All right, well, thanks everyone for coming.
Anybody else announcing their candidacy for mayor?
You know, Judy's husband is running, right?
Judy,
Yeah,
she's an attorney, right?
Yeah.
Well, who's her husband?
Tax, he's Reynolds, what is it? Reynolds?
Which one is that? Is
Yeah,
that
closed on my house.
Yeah.
Portis?
Portis.
Dan Portis.
Dan Bordas, yeah.
So you got Portis, Weber. Says six right now.
6.
Well, I think there'll be actually, I bumped it down to 2, that would be Mattson and Portis, and I'm going with Mattson.
Well, maybe
Yeah, that's what
I'll have an extra one, somebody.
All right.
Although I've known Portis for a long
Well,
time.
maybe we'll see you
He
next
was,
month. Yeah.
Yes.
he did the
I hope it's.
funding and everything for life, and yeah.
You know, they actually are pretty quick, but I don't know. They do things differently.
I have someone waiting for me. I had
I'm not
212.
familiar with the Iowa side, but they just came here. All right. Clyde?
Yeah.
So like, I know you think I'm following you these days, I keep seeing you.
Oh, no.
So do you go to the games all the time?
Not all the time.
Okay.
We're warm weather guy.
That makes sense.
So that's about it.
Yeah, that's, they convinced the Sudlow band parents to come out to the game, but we only come to see our kids play at the band, and
Oh,
that's,
they leave.
yes,
When the kids leave, they leave.
yeah,
But
so it doesn't really make
that's
sense.
been that way forever.
But, you know, I get it, it's a money
But what
maker.
we have is an exceptionally large crowd this time.
Oh, wow.
Because we have a lot of kids with Sudlow that we don't ordinarily have, that are playing in the band. But that's why Central's so.
Well, that's why I was, well, good, how you doing?
It's funding. That's.
Yeah, it's trying to change it up a little bit, keep people on their toes.
And what is the chance?
All right,
Excuse me. I was in the commission, I think they'd be pretty good. Yeah. All this is awful. I mean, I can see that happening. Yeah.
John? I did not know.
Yeah, I think it was
No, I know the manager.
Oh, okay.
Why she called that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I know she was really concerned about her employment.
What's that?
Was it a big contract?
Yeah, I think it was.
Like last month, she was.
But I just know that it was not contracted. Can't really tell you.
Well, I just thought I'd ask. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know who I'm voting
I'm working. Say again?
Still working on it?
Oh,
I don't know anything about it. I didn't read about it, but which was someone, and I think it was.
Should I say that I've been working toward that?
He's like, I don't know if I can, are we at?
But I think he is just
Any
sitting
work,
in
you know.
things need to change, so.
But that's a good thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was
Take
thinking
it.
one guy that threw me
He
into the
agreed.
door frame.
Have a good week.
Kind of like a lot of people.
Steve Duffy.
Yeah. No, big on. I just had to read about it and see what was there. I don't know anything about it.
I hate to say this, but I was never a big fan.
I've been long in the problem.
No, because she is, I found her,
Yes.
Are you alive?
to be rude, she wouldn't.
You playing
She
possum?
was too tight with the city.
Yeah.
She got too tight.
You wanna go?
Yes, and she just,
At least 6
yeah.
cans.
Went up, because I was letting her, so.
Yeah, well, it's not just that, it's also
Just feel good in here.
This is his biggest problem, he says, I know he.
I know you're alive, I can see your
Did
eyes.
what he did
Come
on
on.
his stuff, for him to.
Come on.
He said,
That is too funny.
he went up there.
Yeah.
He did one turn.
Gumbo.
Whitney went into
You wanna go
business
home?
'cause
Wanna go
that
get
was
a
more
treat?
important to him than- That's a bunch of crap.
Treat?
Well, I got
He's like,
at
that's,
12 o'clock on
You're
the.
waiting for it.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
I
Hop,
appreciate it, it's too bad it took a
hop,
deposition to get there.
on.
And it would really push me to vote for him if he would.
Sure, I'll give you a
The
call.
forgery.
okay.
You can wake up. Come on, buddy.
I said, you have
Because you know, at the last city
He's thinking about
council
it.
meeting, well.
He's like, ah.
It was the week after our last.
I thought it
meeting.
would, I thought this was gonna last.
After the forgery.
Yeah.
Usually when it's time to do this, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee for the road,
they
though.
wouldn't let you talk.
No, they let like 4 or 5 people talk, and I went to stand up, and the other one was going to sit down, and Ambrose was like, all right, let's adjourn, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, are you kidding me? So I did an interview on Channel 4, and Jansen did an interview and actually said that he was looking into his options, that could press charges, but then I never heard anything else.
You know, it's,
We were discussing who we were gonna vote for mayor.
well, choices. I mean, well, we know where. the one
We were
lady
discussing
is,
the
she's so
pros
far
and
down.
cons.
She's below sea level as far as I'm concerned. Oh, no.
So what's going on with
I keep ready to take her side down.
It's not the backpack.
I was hoping to see her here.
Oh,
They get all the
Yeah.
backpacks out.
Because I know last month she had something with work, but I thought maybe she'd be here.
Beth is out sick. I don't know
Beth is not
if
here
they
either?
responded.
Poor
I
thing.
was sick yesterday.
But you
We were
know.
both sick. My friend gave me cookies
No.
from the airport.
Oh,
We were all
that very
sick.
well could be.
Yeah.
And you get in those planes and you catch everything. All it takes is one person.
Okay. Does anybody have, or know of anybody,
That one.
that got a little kid that can wear a size 12 to 18 months?
Oh my goodness.
I was,
Well, I'm about to have a grandson.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. You don't look excited about that at
yeah,
all.
the thing is,
She doesn't know it's a boy
I
yet. The
ordered
gender
it
reveals on Sunday.
by
I'm not
mistake.